Welcome to Peter and Roughie's football show, sponsored by Arnold Clark. I'm Peter Martin. Alan Rough, Barry Ferguson and Tam McManus are here with us, ready to react to your point of view on Facebook Live and, of course, on YouTube, PLZ Soccer's channel there as well. Thank you to each and every one of you for joining us on the programme. Lots to discuss. We've got a one-to-one with Stephen O'Donnell, who's decided to take up the offer of a contract at Kilmarnock, and he's seeking you, hoping to pick a club that will enhance his chances of remaining in the Scotland international setup as well. So we'll hear from Stephen very shortly, and we'll also discuss, of course, all the arguments that seem to be going on since Celtic have been awarded the title. There seems to be a tit for tat among pundits and punters all across the country. So we might as well throw our tuppence worth in and have a laugh. As you can see, Roughie, Barry and, of course, Tam seem to find a deal with Nike Sportswear. Either that or they've no imagination whatsoever. All three of them wearing the same clobber. But I'm sure you'll appreciate in very different sizes. So with it's a big hi to Rocky Aziz from Dumbarton, who listens to the show, watches the show in fact. Rab McCleary always gets a coffee, gets into the room, settles himself down. Rab, thank you very much for supporting us. We really appreciate it. Jonathan Foley, as well as Derek Fowler in Spain, which is great. And also, I've just got to give a mention here, thank you to Mark Watson, who sent us an email with a league reconstruction proposal. Again, we're not being in any way rude to anyone. Mark, as you'll appreciate, we get so many people sending us long emails with all the league reconstruction, all of them with valid points, great splits, great ideas for clubs playing each other regularly. So thank you again for that. Whether and Budge can somehow get everybody to buy into the league reconstruction remains to be seen, to be perfectly honest with you. And as ever, as I look around here onto our Facebook Live and YouTube, there are so many people joining us and getting on board. So thank you to all of you as well. Charlie Sanderson wishing us the very best. Andy Fitzpatrick, Mark McDonald, and of course James Collins, Paul McRoberts and Nicole Smart just saying, did they all get their tops on an offer? Well, Nicole, your guess is as good as mine with regards to these three madmen on my left-hand side. So let's get into the meat and bones of it. You'll be happy to know, Barry, we're going to talk about Rangers today.
Oh, I'm buzzing, Peter. I watched the show yesterday and it was all Celtic. So, to be honest with you, I enjoyed the show yesterday. It was good. It's good to see the comments come up below. I used one of my kids' Facebook and
it's good because you're on the own.
I know. I've missed the comments. I've missed being in the studio.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a strange thing, you know, as we eagerly await the lockdown easing slowly but surely. It'll be strange when we all get together again, sitting on the couch. I'm looking forward to that as well. But just on your thoughts immediately, Barry, on the departures, because we've got a situation: Jordan Rossiter, Jason Holt, Jack Annick, and now Andy Halliday, Wes Fotheringham, and John Flanagan, all times up at Ibrox. What's your thoughts?
Everybody apart from Andy Halliday, I was surprised for the simple fact, Peter, it's not just because I know him and I've played beside Andy. Andy's a good squad player. Look, it would have been tough for him to get into the starting 11, but he's one of the players, Peter, that can play a number of positions. So, not surprised with the rest of the guys not getting offered contracts, but I was surprised that Andy didn't at least get another season, as I said, because he's a good utility player, and every time he's come into the Rangers team when there's been an injury, I think he's done well enough to merit another contract. But listen, the manager's made a decision, and I'm sure Andy will need to move on, because we all know he's a big Rangers supporter, but he'll need to move on and go into pastures new.
Let me pick up on that point with you, Barry, just before I get the thoughts of the other guys on that. You mentioned that he's a good utility player. Always worries me when that line comes out. Tell me, what's his best position?
I prefer Andy at left back. Look, if you're going to say that, I know Barisic he's been probably one of Rangers' best players, so it was going to always be tough for Andy to get in there. But I know Andy prefers centre midfield, but I like him at left back, Peter.
Well, Tam, I'm going to suggest to you I'd like him in the centre of midfield at a club where the expectation is not through the roof. I don't like him at left back. I think he's got more to offer in the middle of the park. What's your take on it?
Yeah, I agree with you, Peter. I think he's good in the centre midfield. I think he's neat and tidy. He keeps the play ticking over. Left back, I don't think he's got enough pace to play there. I don't think he's good enough one-on-one against a good winger. I think he's been shown up a few times, particularly against Celtic in that left back position. I think Rangers are doing the right thing. I don't think any of the guys released are good enough for Rangers. I don't think they're going to get in the starting 11, and Rangers next season need to go for a bit more quality rather than quantity. They've got guys like Jordan Jones there as well, Greg Stewart, Brandon Barker. Guys like that are decent enough running about the squad, but they're not going to get in the starting 11, Peter. And Rangers need to go for more quality next season if they're going to topple Celtic for me.
Yeah, Barry, Roughie said they need 5 players and 5 half-decent ones.
Yeah, Peter, it's easy getting good players. I've seen players come into the Rangers dressing room, and when they walk out in that pitch, they get to fright their lives with the expectations and the demands on your shoulders. So it's going to be a tough one for the manager to get the correct player. It's okay sitting down and a player saying, I can handle playing in front of 50,000 every single week, but the proof is in the pudding when they go out there and when they're not doing well the first 15, 20 minutes, if you've not scored or you've misplaced a couple of passes, and the fans, rightly so, get on your back and demand. I've seen a lot of players shoulder away for that, and that's the worry getting. There's loads of good players out there, Peter, but when you come into a club like Rangers, the demands are crazy at times.
Of course, we'd like to give mentions to Jason Cheney, who's watching in London, Stephen Hill as well. Davey Boy says, Mickey Mouse, if this is what we're going to be talking about, well, Dave, nobody's putting a gun to your head to watch the show. Perfectly honest with you. I mean, let's get real about this. I'm just getting the baseball bat out. If Tam can get the baseball bat out, Roughie, I'm getting the baseball bat out as well. Tam obviously speaking to us from a witness protection scheme at the moment because he's getting
Who's he noised up now? I've not seen who.
His language is atrocious, and he's getting a little bit precious about the papers having a go at him. Come on, Tam, take it in the chin. Just take it on the chin.
I don't like getting misquoted, Peter. I get so much abuse. I woke up yesterday from a headline from a newspaper saying Rangers were hopeless, which was not true. So I was getting dog's abuse yesterday. Honestly, I was getting pelted, so I wasn't too happy.
Yeah,
I must admit, that's not what you say in your group chat, Tam.
Sure.
Footballer in misquoted sensation. Wow, yeah. What a headline that is, eh, Roughie?
Yeah, you told me, Tam, the word they'd left out was really. That's the problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just
out of curiosity, could you clarify which half of the season were you misquoted on, just out of curiosity?
Well, clearly Rangers dropping 13 points out of 30 in the second part of the season. They were hopeless. So the first part of the season, they were very good. Second part, they were hopeless. I don't think anybody would disagree with that, to be honest with you.
No, absolutely. So no misquote after all. Then, so I'm looking. I'm looking at the situation here, Barry, with regards to the players that have gone. And Roughie said 5 players to get in there. Now I know, and this is the interesting thing, and it's an interesting thing on the basis of money. I know that you've mentioned that Douglas Park, you are absolutely certain in your mind that he'll obviously put money in, which I think he has done to his credit on a regular occurrence. I'm looking at the Castor deal, which obviously is 25 million over a number of years. UEFA will pay them out for the money that they've got for the Europa League run. SPFL, share of the 7 million. Not a lot of money, to be honest with you, but nevertheless, all welcome. There's going to be a small amount of season ticket money for every club, not just Rangers. And then you're looking at directors' input. I think we need investment to have any chance whatsoever of stopping 10 in a row, Barry. I don't think Rangers can have any hope of stopping 10 in a row unless somebody from somewhere comes in with a barrel load of cash. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, Peter, there's certainly need investment into the team. That's clear from the winter break, the start back from middle of January. It was clear that there was a number of players that maybe felt the pressure. And I'll go back to what I says 5 minutes ago. When you come and you play with Rangers, the pressures are unreal at times. So the manager's going to have a difficult job, as I says, Peter. There's plenty of good players. It's when they come in, it's okay training, doing well in training. It's when you go out and try and do it in front of 50,000, and if you can't handle that, you're never going to do the job for Rangers. So he's got a big job in his hands. But look, I'm sure. Look, I wouldn't say it. I know Douglas Part. He's done really well in business. I don't think it'll be an open checkbook, Peter. He'll be careful with it. But if the right players available at the right money, I'm more than positive that Douglas would back the manager.
Well, on that, Tam, we just heard Roughie's stomach there going. On that point, I was going to ask you, what's this? I mean, what pressure must they be under to get even 4 or 5 right? When you consider they've got quite a few wrong over the last couple of years. I mean, the recruitment hasn't been top drawer.
No, it hasn't, Peter. Listen, I think they've went for quantity over quality, Rangers, over the last 2 seasons with Steven Gerrard. I mentioned some of the players before. You know, Jordan Jones, Greg Stewart, Brandon Barker. You know, guys like that I don't think are really Rangers players. They'll fill in the squad, you know, they'll puff it out and they'll come in if needed in the SPFL. But, you know, Rangers have got, I think Rangers' problems last season were they're a really good starting 11. But once they started losing the likes of maybe Morelos with suspension or Barisic or maybe Ryan Jack, they were very, very light in key positions. So I think they need more competition in key positions and they need better players, need better quality in. But as you said, Peter, that's going to cost money. And if Rangers, as you said earlier, if Rangers have got any chance of toppling Celtic, they've got to go and sign quality players, and that costs money. And Celtic, I think, are in a better financial position where they won't lose their key players. You know, if Celtic can keep the likes of Edouard and Forrest and players like that, Callum McGregor, then Rangers really need to step up and sign some real quality to get the better of them next year.
Yeah, Roughie, when you look at the previous Rangers managers who built teams that were capable of league, the first thing Souness did when he came in was he addressed what any of the really good managers do address, which is the spine of the team. Buy a good goalkeeper, buy 2 good centre-halves, a little bit of bite in the middle of the park, somebody who can score goals, and then, as Sir Alex Ferguson did on countless occasions, Roughie, he then sprinkled it with a little bit of gold dust.
Yeah, but I think at the end of the day, Peter, it all boils down to, as the guys are talking about, the money. You know, have Rangers got the money to go out and buy quality? I said yesterday 5 players, but I emphasised not only do they have to be 5 players, but they need to be winners. You know, Barry's touched on, you know, there's a lot of them there haven't won anything. They haven't experienced, you know, what it like is to win something. If Rangers can identify maybe 3 or 4 winners from other clubs who've won a league somewhere, who have won something, I don't know how much they would cost or who they are, but at least that they would be identifying people who have been in a position of pressure. When that pressure kicks in, they've been there, they've done it, and that'll help them. Obviously, they've got to have a wee bit of quality as well, but for me, it all boils down to money. Really, if you're going to identify that kind of player, it might just be outside Rangers' prize packet.
Yeah, I mean, the Castor deal, I think Gary Adams was asking there on Facebook, you know, I think it's a 4-year deal. I think it might bring 4 to 5 million in, Barry, which will help the coffers, no doubt. It's the first time, actually, I think Rangers have been able to actually look at money for shirt sales, for merchandise, because it's been litigation all the way over the last 7 years. It's been a disaster.
Yeah, it has been a disaster, Peter, and I think to get Sports Direct away and Mike Ashley was a major win for since Douglas Park's come in. So, as you says, it's 20 to 25 million pound over 4 years, and listen, that's guaranteed. And what they're going to make off strip sales, as you know, Peter, Rangers and Celtic are all over the world. Every single country, there's supporter clubs and supporters. So I'm sure they'll make a few bob off the merchandise as well.
Yeah, one of the things that they've got to look for is players that certainly can handle the pressure of it. If you look, I wonder if you guys want to cast your eye over what we look back on for the season and the failing of Rangers. I mean, Tam, you mentioned there it was really a tale of two halves of the season. Here's the 5 key games where Rangers really blew it. Yeah, some highlights, of course, in there, Barry, but I looked at it, I think the other day there, I highlighted some of the games over the course of the season. Some of them we've highlighted there. Losing at home to Celtic, the loss to Hamilton for me, Kilmarnock down at Rugby Park, I was there that night as well. There were some highs in there, as you could see from the piece, but the lows were games they never have lost and some they should never have drawn.
Yeah, the glaring one, Peter's Hamilton at home. Look, when teams are struggling at the bottom of the league, they're going to come and sit really deep, and that's when you need patience. And they struggled that night. I had a few friends at the game, and they says they just didn't play well. And they're the sort of games, Peter, that I go back to. When you don't play well, you need to come in with 3 points at the end of the day. And since the winter shutdown, since they come back, they struggled. That was a downfall for me. I was impressed. I've got to be honest with you. I was impressed with the first 5 months of the season. The second, the last couple of months, before this virus came in, will be the worrying thing. And I'm sure this time the manager will be spending on the phone with his staff, trying to identify where it went wrong and identify what sort of players and what positions he needs to bring in.
Yeah, Gary says they need 4 Barry Fergusons, 4 Davy Coopers and 2 Sandy Jardins with a half-decent goalie behind them to have any chance. Roughie, that's about £150 million worth of talent. He's just quoted there.
It's easy saying that, but that is the kind of player. They need people who have been through the tried and trusted. They know what it's like to win a league. They know what it's like to be in a cup. They know what it is to come back from 1-0 at home. They know the pressures that brings with. And I think for the turn of the season, that's obviously what they didn't have. They didn't have a centre forward who was scoring the goals he was scoring in the first half. He went off the rails a wee bit, and he was a big player for them, and that success they had, scoring goals and playing tremendously well. We still don't know what happened after that break, why he went off the rails. But I think the pressure of the game at Kilmarnock for me was the one that if they were going to turn it round, that would be the sign. Because as you all know, when you're not playing well and you score a late goal, the first thing that managers come out with is, that's the character of the team. That just shows you we're going to fight right until the end. But when you don't turn these games around, like the Hamilton game as well, that's when people start asking questions.
I thought Stephen on Facebook made a good point. He says, played Celtic off the park twice, but just the players couldn't handle it. You need to be, when you're on top, when you're dominating games, you need to be able to hammer them. The other thing about it, Tam, Gary said there you need 4 Barry Fergusons. I don't think any team can say 4 morning-faced running about the park, just giving it belters. I mean, you couldn't put up with that, could you?
4 Barry Fergusons would be an absolute nightmare for a player. Imagine you made a mistake, you did the 4 of them on you at one time. It'd be a disaster. Listen, Peter, just come back to the point about Rangers. I think they've really struggled since Steven Gerrard came in to break down teams that sit in. They've been well suited to European football, where they've been able to sit in and counter-attack teams that come onto them. Even the 2 Celtic games, the cup final, let's be honest, they battered Celtic. Celtic won the cup, but Rangers were the better side. And then they go just before the break, they go to Celtic Park and win as well. Celtic came onto them. Celtic came onto them and attacked them. And Rangers were able to pick them off, with the pace they've got with Kent and Arfield and the legs with Jack and Morelos leading the lone furrow. I just think when they struggle to break down a team that's really sitting in, and that's where I think maybe Lyndon Dykes in January would have been a good buy for them, because it would have gave them a different option. Get the ball wide, get crosses in the box. I think Rangers, the teams that come up against Rangers now, clog up the middle of the park, let them go wide and let them cross balls in, because the centre-halves will head it away all day. And I think that's been key, particularly against Hamilton Accies, where they just sat in and Rangers couldn't break them down. They tried to play through them, but there was no space through the middle. So I think they need a different option. I think they need a big, powerful target man to complement what they've got there.
Roughie, I think it's a great point.
See the difference when you're at home and people are sitting behind the ball, and you need a bit of patience. The fans start to grumble a wee bit, but you've got to shut that out. You've got to keep to your game plan, and I feel some of the players just kind of force things too much. Sometimes you've got to try and blinker that out and just keep to what you're good at. And I just think too many times when I've seen them, they try to force the ball when maybe they better just keep it. And sometimes if you go side to side, the fans don't like it. But what you're doing is you're moving the opposition. And then eventually you'll get that bit of space or that gap opening where you can go and punish a team. So sometimes patience wasn't there. And that's when you need people on the pitch, Peter, to manage it and make sure and tell the guys, listen, calm down. There's still 20 minutes to go. Don't try and force things. So that's where I think they need another few players that can lead when they're on the pitch. Because you can't expect a manager to do it when he's in the sidelines all the time.
Yeah, but you made a point in the middle of the season, which I thought was pertinent, obviously with Kelty in mind, the way you were going about your business. And Stephen Gerrard will know this as well, that sometimes you have to change. You can't have a rigid philosophy. And I thought, picking up on Tam's point there, I would not have signed, no disrespect to Florian Camberry, I would not have signed Camberry to put the fear of God into everybody. I would have signed Lyndon Dykes so that when it's not working, why don't you just punt that ball up to him and let him be a battering ram, and he can either score or pick up the scraps. I thought that was a better option to keep them in the running in games where they're dying for one goal, not just one goal to win a game.
Yeah, he's a good option, but he's another player that he's been really good for Livingston. How's he going to react to playing in front of 50,000 and the pressures? That's another gamble, Peter. But look, I get where Tam came was coming from. Sorry, I like Lyndon Dykes. Every time I've watched him, especially against Celtic twice, he's caused the two centre backs all sorts of problems. So. Listen, sometimes you've got to go to a plan B, and if plan B doesn't work, you've got to have plan C. So that's something that maybe the Rangers managers already identifying with the staff during this lockdown.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do and whether they can actually rise to that challenge. And of course, financially, I mean, just picking up on that point, Tam, do you agree with me that unless I don't even think it's about the recruitment at the moment, I think it's about the investment. I think when you look at the accounts, and this is not me plucking something out of the air, but when you have, for the 8th year in a row, an £11.3 million loss in the last accounts, and Dave King saying they needed 10 million to the end of the season, and no fans coming in to the stadium in every Scottish ground this year, I think they need major investment to think, right, you've got to stop 10 in a row. You're going to have to buy players that can do what Barry's just mentioned.
Yeah, I think there's a big hole there, Peter. There's a big hole to fill for Rangers, in terms of finances, and obviously the coronavirus now as well. No supporters coming in. Rangers, Celtic, all our clubs rely on supporters coming in the gates, cash flow. So somebody with deep pockets has got to come in to Rangers. I don't know who that will be. I'm sure they'll be looking for investors, right now to come in and try and give the manager the money they're saying to go and strengthen the team, because I don't think the squad needs strengthened, in terms of numbers. I think it's quality. They need 2 or 3 positions, with real quality. They've got a good starting 11, as I said to you earlier. They've got a good 11, 12 players, but beyond that, I don't think they're strong enough when you look at Celtic's squad.
Peter, the signings that the manager makes need to come in at the starting 11. Tam made a good point there. they've got the numbers in terms of the squad. The signings that the manager makes this summer are guys that have got to come into the starting 11 and make a difference.
Yeah, Roughie, there's a good point by Stephen McNamara on Facebook. He says, has Canberra gone back to Hibs? If he has, he's dressed in a pink dress with a and of course a balaclava over his head to walk about Edinburgh. If he has,
oh yeah, and he's very, very lucky. The lockdown's there, and everybody's self-isolating, so nobody will be able to get a hold of him. So no, he's on a free run now. It'd be interesting to see what happens. His name wasn't mentioned at all in these players that were out there, so we'll have to wait and see on that one.
Yeah.
Can I ask Barry something? If you were Rangers manager, would you sign Canberra? Or would you look at another option, Barry? You think he's done well enough to deserve that?
See, to be honest with you, Tam, I was the same when Rangers signed him. I was a bit surprised. He actually done better than I thought he would. So you've got to give him credit for that. He came in and I thought a couple of games he came on, he really changed it. I thought over in Braga, he was excellent. But look, the guy you mentioned 5 minutes ago, I like him. Lyndon Dykes, young. I know untested and level, but it's a gamble. It's a gamble that you'd be willing to take. I think he's got all the attributes to be a very good centre forward. A natural goal scorer, but listen, he's not a natural goal scorer, but he brings something different.
He's not. I actually seen Lyndon Dykes with Queen of the South for a couple of years. I was covering a lot of their games, and he was brilliant with Dobie up front. He was very well suited to a two up front. So again, that gives you that big man, little man. If it's going to be Dykes and Morelos, or if Morelos leaves, it might be Dykes and Defoe. It just gives you that different option with the two up front rather than playing the 4-2-3-1 or the 4-3-3 that Rangers seem to play, every week. It gives you that different option, which I think Rangers need.
Yeah, but on Canberra, I think he surprised everybody. Canberra, I wasn't sure of him.
He done well.
He done most of his best work was always done in the wide areas. I thought, not through the middle. But I thought he done a good job when he came in.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, I hate to be brutal. You're not
£1 million should get him for Hibs.
No. Yeah, you're not going to win the league with Canberra. I'm sorry. It's as that they need 4 or 5. They need 4 or 5 players, and 1 or 2 of them need to come from some contact. If there's not a lot of money, Steven Gerrard needs to pull a rabbit out of the hat. Ryan Kent needs to be far more ruthless this season, and I think 4 or 5 players need to be of a higher calibre if they've got any chance whatsoever of stopping 10 in a row. Roughie, I don't know if you agree with me on that. That's just my brutal assessment of the 11. And
I said that right. Yeah, I said it right at the beginning. The players they should be identify should be the winners, not people who have handled that pressure. The big boy Dykes, I think he's a very, very good player, but he doesn't come under the category that I'm talking about. He's a young man who's been elevated to obviously Livingston and doing well. Throw him into a Rangers team, 50, as Barry said, 50,000. It's a bit of a gamble. He might do well in obviously Scottish football. I would like to think Rangers, with the season they've had in Europe, would want to sort of try and expand on that as well. So for me, it's all about quality and people coming for clubs. I don't know where they're coming for, Poland or whatever. Celtic identify a certain, a region that they can tap into, and most of them come and they're a success. But that, if it's not 5 players, it needs to be 3 really quality players that obviously going to cost money, because Rangers can't keep just bringing in players and putting them on fancy wages. They need to look for the future. They need to start building for the future. I know the main thing will be stopping Celtic 10 in a row, but there's a lot of seasons after that. Rangers really have to start focusing on having players that are at the club for 3, 4, 5 years and they get some kind of unity there.
Yeah.
Just picking up, Peter, sorry. Just picking up what Roughie was saying there about Rangers, and I think this is when your scouts really earn their money. Your scouting network. Rangers have had a really good season in Europe. They've came to the fore. Surely there's players like in Portugal or Spain, or not in the top league, but in these places, go and scour and try Holland, Belgium. We're talking about Lyndon Dykes here, and yeah, he is a good player, but a club like Rangers, you should be scouring Europe and the world for real talent, and I think that's where John Park, obviously at Celtic, came to the fore. You know, the likes of Van Dijk and Wanyama and guys like that who came in and were unknown and came in and sold them on for 10, 15 million. That's the model that Rangers have to go down. Try and get these young players from Belgium or Holland or whatever and come in and try and sell them on for big money. So we're concentrating a wee bit too much, I think, maybe on Lyndon Dykes and Scottish football. Rangers as a club should be scouting, you know, all over the place.
I think you're right, Tam. Listen, going to give a mention to a lot of people. William Gibson listens every day on our YouTube. Liam Devine as well. John Sherry has come out with an interesting one. He says, I'm leaving your show. It stinks. All Rangers. I'm going to miss John Barry AU. He's not with us anymore on YouTube, so all the best. John.
Well, Peter, I stayed for the full show yesterday. Hey, I enjoyed the 1 hour and 20 minutes. I stayed for the full show.
I know, John's just indicative of people, again, who, you know, get the attention rate of a termite. If it's not about their club, then don't want.
Peter, this is the most I've seen Barry smiling in a couple of weeks, because this show is just pure staunch. It's just a staunch fest today, isn't it?
I love that one.
Listen, I'll be honest with you, I've had a hard 48 hours. I've had a hard 48 hours.
He deserves his beat day.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that I have to laugh at, and I'm not quite sure what the punditry's all about, but I'm listening to pundits talking about there's an asterisk over the titles, Roughie. I mean, honestly, have pundits up and down the country and journalists suddenly started to become obsessed with the asterisk because Celtic have been awarded the title? I mean, Roger Mitchell, who's clearly followed the Tam McManus book of punditry, Roger we've had on the show, he's a great lad, but he came out in the last 24 hours with a line: if there's an asterisk over this title, there's an asterisk over every Rangers title from 2000 onwards. You know, because of the EBTs, they're all going crazy. I mean, at the end of the day, not one Premiership club objected to Celtic being awarded the title. I mean, I do not understand why they're going into what I call the gutter of punditry on this one. The title's won. There's no point in contesting it. I mean, it's the absolute loon balls who, it's like a Tom and Jerry. You ever see the cartoon of Tom and Jerry, Roughie, where they just belt each other over the head with a frying pan? That's the type of argument you're going into with people being awarded the league title. All that.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, the only people that matter will be Lenny and the players, and Lenny and the players will not be worrying about what's put against this year. They'll get their medals. If you played enough games, they'll have a medal. There'll be a medal in a wardrobe somewhere for them, and that's all they'll be interested in. People want to identify tainted and asterisks and all that. It's just for their own peace of mind, because I don't think anybody at Celtic will worry about that. They'll move on. I think they should focus more than anything else, as this is just equaling it, the 9 in a row. The next one's the big one. I think you should be totally 100% focused if you're a Rangers supporter on stopping Celtic getting 10 in a row. Because if you think it's bad now at 9, just have a wee step back and see what it's going to be if it happens next year if it's 10.
Peter,
I think it's going to be.
Peter, you're talking about clubs. You're talking about the SPFL awarding Celtic the league title. I think Rangers have gave Celtic the league title. You know, their performance since the break. You know, they've lost twice to, no disrespect, the worst Hearts team I've ever seen. You know, they've lost to Hamilton Accies, who were bottom of the league at home. You know, they've handed Celtic the title. You know, Celtic have obviously went out. I think they only lost 2 points, dropped 2 points from the break. A draw at Livingston, is that right, Celtic? So they've kept churning away, getting results. Rangers, you know, getting beat off Kilmarnock, drawing with St Johnstone. These teams are all in the bottom 6. So I just don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, one of the things, I think you had a great quality back. Never bought into the hype. I thought after December 29th, you know, they were about to hand the SPFL trophy over before the new year, because what happened was basically you had players actually starting to believe they were better than they are, and that's something that I know from your own experience as a player. You wouldn't get caught up in any of that nonsense.
No, Peter, you can't. Listen, you enjoy the victories over your fierce rivals for the night, and then see the next day it's concentrate in the next game. I know they had a break after it, but you go away and enjoy your break, and when you get back to your work, I think that was in Dubai straight away. I don't think they trained there. I think they all went straight to Dubai. That's when the work really starts. That's the business end of the season, when you're getting into the last half of the season, that's when you've got to motor on and kick on. And unfortunately, Rangers didn't do that, Peter, and Celtic did. So, as I said, listen, there's closure on it now, Peter. What Rangers should be doing, and I'm sure they will as a club, and I'm sure the manager and the players, is now full focus is going to go into next season, and when that starts, and making sure they don't make the same mistakes as this season.
Roughie, league reconstruction, last chance this week. We expect it by Friday. The proposal. Have you heard any wee snifters from your Partick Thistle sandwich brigade, your boardroom?
No, no. I'm led to believe that Anne Budge is on her own in this one. I think she's the one that's going to come up with the suggestions of to try and persuade the SPFL, to change their minds. I do believe it will have to be financial. It will have to be some kind of financial deal that the clubs are going to look at, because the main thing is they seem to think they're going to lose thousands and thousands of pounds if they let another 2 clubs in. I'm sure she's a businesswoman. She'll come up with some plan. It just depends how many of them want to buy into it, and again, a lot of them will be looking at, the relegation side. There might be have to be a deal in there that there maybe not any relegation for a couple of years or something. She'll have to throw everything at it. She'll have to give away so many things if she wants to stay in it and have league reconstruction, because we all want it. Players want it. The fans want it. We just have to convince the SPL that this is the best thing for Scottish football, and they have to try and put things aside and look at it in a serious matter for the whole of Scottish football, not just, if we let in our 2 clubs and we could be relegated. It can't be that kind of vote. It cannot be. It has to be for the best of Scottish football.
I think now I think they're on a hiding to nothing, Tam. And I know Gary Mackay says he reckons Hearts are a laughing stock. I like Gary. It's his opinion. I agree with it. I don't think Hearts are a laughing stock. I think I'm asking the question, why is she so passionate and pounding and tub thumping on the SPFL's door for reconstruction? Why? Well, there's a number of reasons. One, she feels there's an injustice, which I think we all agree with. 2, we are in unprecedented times financially for every club. 3, she clearly knows the inside books on Hearts and how painful this is going to be for them. And of course, at the end of all that, she's got to somehow come up with a plan that keeps Hearts in the league, adds another 2, and maybe adds another 2 at the bottom end that involves Brora and Kelty. I don't think she's a laughing stock. I think she should keep going till the end for the last gasp for her club. I'm all for her keeping pounding the door till Friday.
Yeah, listen, our own supporters wouldn't ever forgive her if she chucked it now. She's got to keep going. And I agree. I think that Hearts shouldn't be relegated. I don't think there should be any relegation this season, because it's unfair, and the situation we're in with the coronavirus, financially, clubs are on their knees. They're dying, and we need to get some money to them. And I think that, in terms of Anne Budge as well, in the reconstruction, obviously she's got to convince people in the Premier League. I think that's the main thing. She's got to convince them that it's the right thing for everyone. For me, I think it should be reconstruction. I've said it all along with the other guys. I want to bring Brora and Kelty up as well, 2 ambitious clubs who have had good seasons and should be rewarded for that. And Hearts 4 points, I think Hearts would have got relegated, to be honest, if the season would have continued. But I think there was still 24 points to play for, and you can't relegate them now in case they might have been on a little run. So I'm all for Hearts trying to stay up, and I hope the reconstruction talks go well and we can get reconstruction for the whole league.
Yeah, not necessarily everyone agrees with us when we put our point of view out here. And I always like to mention, Roughie, some of the people who don't agree and deserve to have their opinion voiced here. Hugh Smiley on YouTube says, "Take your punishment, Hearts, like Thistle, pure crap." Yeah, Roughie.
Well, it's an opinion. It's an opinion. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion. But if you look at the facts, of what we're talking about, Barry's situation, a pyramid system where he's played all year with the focus on getting up, and then that's taken away from you. We've obviously, keep happening on about our situation, a game in hand. The reason the game in hand is because Inverness had a Scottish Cup tie to play and we couldn't play the game on that Saturday. I mean, you could go on and on and on, and Hearts will believe where the games that are left, the 8 games, 5 of them against the 5 teams down the bottom. I know they hadn't beaten them during the season, but when you get to that situation, you're going to say, well, we've got a chance, that against these teams. So everybody's got a reason. It seems common sense to me is why punish people in this, what we're all going through, when there is a simple solution as you introduce 2 more teams to the league and you get on with it and you just promote everybody. It's just beggars belief. And the other one that I can't get my head around, correct me if I'm wrong, Peter, but seemingly Rangers and Celtic and Aberdeen want league reconstruction. No, the big teams want it. So you really have to convince some of the other teams. If the 3 big teams want it, I'm not too sure about Hibs. But it just, I mean, in the scale of things, if we did a poll of everybody, do you want league reconstruction or you don't? The league reconstruction would win hands down, if it was a normal vote.
Peter, see the thing is, see like Hearts and Partick, Stranraer. Look, I think everybody agrees they're at the bottom of the league for a reason, because they've been the poorest this season. But there's still a number of games to go, and that can change. We all know what football's like, and I just think it's all wrong that Hearts, Partick, and Stranraer, to a lesser extent, because they were more points behind, are punished. I think it's wrong.
I agree with you. I can't argue with you on it, Barry. I maybe phrased it wrongly and upset a few people when I said Hearts, but I don't care. It was, save Thistle, save Stranraer. We're financially facing very difficult times. I think the enormity of that is going to come very shortly, and I think a lot of people are going to realise shortly why there was a need to save Hearts, why there was a need to bring 2 teams up and have no relegation. It's going to becoming abundantly clear to all shortly at the need to try and think of the collective rather than be greedy and self-interest of a number of clubs. And of course, that's an 11-1 vote. It's so unfair, but they made their bed, they have to lie in it, and if you can't get it past the 11-1, which I don't think Anne Budge will, sadly, then we're facing Hearts in the Championship, which is to the benefit of some teams down there who'll think, oh great, 16,000 fans when they eventually get there, but I'm sorry, I think it's the wrong move. Paul McRoberts says, please, Barry, if he's had talks with Heart of Midlothian.
Sorry, Peter, I lost you there.
Paul McRoberts, please ask Barry if he's had talks with Hearts. Not Kelty, Heart of Midlothian.
No, I know Kelty Hearts have been along with Hearts of Midlothian over the last couple of days, but I've certainly not.
Right, okay, because that's the thing that we're all we've all got a kitty, Roughie, and we've all put money in. We want to know the big job when it eventually comes. I mean, I don't know what you're saying.
Get a few quid on.
Off, it's a tenner. It's a tenner in the kitty, Tam. It's a night out. Where will the Fergie, the number 6, end up eventually?
Anywhere bar Rangers and Hearts for me. I've got a wee sniffy on taking me, but I can't anywhere bar they two. I'm gubbed, honestly.
Here, Tam, I want my strikers to score goals.
Just out of curiosity.
Aye.
I know what you're like.
Evidence
in the last 24 hours. Would you end your friendship with him? Would you just say, "Look, Barry, I'm not. Don't bother."
Aye. As soon as he gets back to Rangers, I can't. That's it. He's deleted for the chat. Nice. I can't handle a drunken text at night. No, that when Rangers have beat Celtic. No, that I can't handle that.
Yeah, Roughie, I'd stick with him. I'm not too sure he'd be allowed to stick with us, but we'd stick with him anyway, wouldn't we, Roughie?
Yeah, I just think all the great interviews you would get with him. You'd be first on his list. You'd be just the only person I'm speaking to is Peter Martin. That's what kind of guy he'll be.
Exclusive.
Roughie,
I know what you're going to come out with here, Peter.
Do you forget the captain years?
Yeah.
God, he was what a blinking.
He's changed.
Has he changed?
He's media friendly. He's like Big Sutton.
Yeah.
He's media
Oh,
friendly.
It reminds me of Big Sutton. He's just a similar type.
Listen, don't
He just says things to be controversial. Speak the truth. He just says things to be controversial.
He's a cheerleader. He's a cheerleader.
To be fair, now I'm going to defend them here. The big man, Roughie, and these two here need to be quickly put in check. The big man, we gave him his start in the media. He came up and helped launch the company. I will not have a bad word said against Chris Sutton because, Roughie, he was there.
You're not getting your one with him. Oh.
Well, I think we've had him. But he was there, Roughie, when we launched the company, wasn't he? He was.
Yeah,
He was.
I mean, he's a pundit for a reason. He's employed by a company for a reason who need figures, and he appeased the people who wanted to listen to what he was saying. You either love him or you hate him, but you have to realise that's why he was in that job. That's why, Michael Stewart gets so much pelters. He's got a column and he writes things that people don't agree with. You either like it or you don't. At least with Barry's one, that's just sook every Friday. It's just everybody. Everybody's nice and lovely.
At least with Barry's column, it's just pictures. It just draws stuff.
At least I'm showing my colours, my true colours.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, listen, the one thing
that's why he's there.
What are we doing? We're just going to batter every other pundit on every other station.
Aye.
At the end of the day, I think Barry's won a lot of friends over his course of being a pundit on this programme. He says it as honestly as he can. The minute he becomes a flag waver, Tam, we'll be giving him an absolute doing.
Yes,
it's as simple.
Yes, elbow.
Because you've got to be honest, unless he becomes the Rangers manager, which eventually I think is going to be fantastic. James Collins says, sook, Roughie. Yeah, there you are. There's people giving us an absolute pelters for this one. But listen, it's all about opinion. Some you like, some you don't. That's the joy of it all. Listen, apart from debating the Celtic, the Rangers situation, we'll hear from Stephen O'Donnell shortly on where he's going. It's a year in charge of Scotland for Steve Clarke. Let's have a look at the graphic to see how it looks with a year in charge, Roughie. Of course, the gubbings that we've had along the way, we've managed to get some good confidence boosting wins, but not necessarily, against the likes of a Russia or a Belgium. But we'll still get a chance of qualifying, hopefully, under Steve. I've got a lot of time. I'm a big fan of his.
Yeah, and I know we've had a lot of young players, some injured and some just, breaking into the team. This maybe give them a wee bit of breathing space, to when we get back to the Israel game. I don't think we're going into that Israel game with 100% confidence. We know it's going to be really, really difficult. But again, I think if we could get a settled team with these young boys playing at a top level, just exactly what we're talking about, the kind of players that Rangers need, the McGinn's playing in the Premiership, and all these young boys that are playing against wonderful players in Scotland will get the benefit of it, But I think we've got a wee way to go. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in a right downer if we never. Well, I think we'll beat Israel. I think the next one after that's a toughie. But I don't think we want to get too down on that because a lot of young players still breaking their teeth.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know one man who definitely wants to be involved in Steve Clarke's squad. It's, of course, Stephen O'Donnell. He's just, in the last 24 hours, revealed to everyone that he won't be a Kilmarnock player next year. He's out of contract. He's going to exercise his right to go and seek employment elsewhere. Just about an hour ago, I caught up with the man in question. Well, I'm delighted to say joining us now is former Kilmarnock fullback Stephen O'Donnell, because that news caught me on the hop. Was it a tough decision?
I think every decision you make in your career is tough. I'd made my mind up probably a wee while back that I was wanting to try and run my contract down, and obviously under the old manager it was I think maybe a slightly easier decision. But then whenever Alec Dyer came in, he's someone I have a huge amount of respect for, and I love him to bits, and made the decision certainly a lot tougher. However, I'm looking for pastures new, and I'm looking forward to the next chapter in my career.
Were you close to possibly thinking about re-signing?
Not really. I do. I hold the club in great regard. I've spent 3 great seasons there. I think the latter's been a wee bit disappointing all round, both personally and collectively. Um, but I just feel I needed a change. I'm coming to 28 now. I'm just turned 28. So coming to a stage in my career, I want to try and achieve as much as I can, and hopefully, over the coming months, this has obviously came at a bit of an awkward time regarding the coronavirus. But hopefully, when I sign up somewhere, I'll be able to kick on.
You mentioned the fact that you're 28, you're getting to that peak of your playing career. Is this next move one that you, in the back of your mind, and thinking it's got to be right because I want to maintain the international status?
100%. This move for me is very crucial. The international setup has hopefully managed to kind of kick me on to another level. I'm hoping. Obviously, I don't quite know where the coronavirus is going to let everything drop, but I certainly need to be playing football if I've got any chance of staying in Steve Clarke's squads, and hopefully then pushing Liam Palmer for a place in the starting 11. But again, there's a lot of if buts and maybes just now. I'm enjoying being around the family so much, but I'd like to get something sorted sooner rather than later, just so you can start to plan that next stage of your career.
Well, having followed you, Stephen, throughout your career, you know, you've gone up through the levels and you've been very meticulous in not only learning, but where you want to go in that strategy. Is it north or south? You don't mind?
I don't mind. I would love to have a crack at the Championship down in England. I was fortunate I had an opportunity to go down to League One in January, but I just didn't feel the timing was right. But again, if I feel the opportunity's the right one down there, I would go there as well. So just now I'm leaving all my options open. I just want to try and make sure it's the right move for me professionally and personally, because it's something I found when I moved back up from Luton. I certainly loved being around my family, and it would need to be something that I really feel I could sink my teeth into to get me to go back down south.
Yeah, if it's in the north and it's in the Scottish Premiership, I mean, there was a wee suggestion that Celtic were sniffing around. Did you hear that? Was there any contact?
No, I think I heard a lot more rumours maybe last summer. After I've not heard anything recently, so again, if that was to arise, obviously it'd be a great option to have, I suppose, if it was an option. But I don't see that being an option anytime soon. But never say never. Who knows what's round the corner?
And if it's not a Celtic, are you open or receptive to other Scottish Premiership clubs?
Yes, of course. I'm open just mainly for a new challenge, one in which I think I'll be at least competing to start. I think you can. It's very hard for any manager to tell you you're going to play every week, because obviously that's totally down to performances. But one that I certainly feel I'll get a good crack at the whip to prove that I'm good enough. Wherever that is, it's not really relevant just now. I think whenever I get a couple of options on the table, and I'll sit down and speak to my family and see what my preferred path will be. But until that point, which again, because of this coronavirus, I don't quite know when this is all going to settle. But I'm just hopefully going to be ready to crack on when that's the case.
You've had 3 good seasons there at Killie. What's been your abiding memory, the highlight?
It's got to be finishing third. Under Steve Clarke, we managed to have an amazing togetherness. We were always battling, we were always in games. There wasn't many times we get turned over. I do recall once when I think we were sitting top of the league or just behind Celtic, and we went to Parkhead and got absolutely trounced. I think we'd riled Celtic up a wee bit. But other than that, we were always very competitive. Worked hard for ourselves and as a team, which is the most important part. We all knew our jobs. So I think that's probably the most enjoyable season of my career. Playing every week. Playing at times very good football, at times not so good football, but and winning a lot of big games. The last game of the season springs to mind to clinch third place against a very, very good Rangers side, and to get third place ahead of a very good Aberdeen side as well, which was a very good finish. The only thing, along with the third place being my highlight, is that it meant that we didn't get to a semi or a final at Hampden, which would have been incredible for Kilmarnock and myself.
You hold Steve Clarke in high regard. Do you think you've benefited as a player because of the quality he had playing a similar position to you?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. He wasn't someone that I felt micromanaged too much. And I sometimes feel when that happens, you get so many messages in your head, you start to get a wee bit confused. I hope that helped with the confusion. But he certainly was a massive part of my career, and I love working with him. Obviously, I hope to continue to do that in the Scotland setup, but that's there's a lot of things need to happen for that to continue.
Just on that point of improvement, what improvements did you find you were making and adjusting to as you started to climb the levels? You know, you go to a Partick Thistle, you think, I want to move, I go to a Luton, you come back to Kilmarnock, you're playing international football.
I think I've been able to mature as a person, start to realise what really motivates you, what makes you tick. I had to take a wee step back when I came back up from Luton. It didn't quite work out how I'd planned, and kind of reassess what I was hoping to do. And I had dreams in my head, and to come back to Kilmarnock, I could have stayed down in League One and League Two, but I wasn't interested in that. My dream was to come back up and play, and one that I hadn't even thought of was to play for Scotland. So to be able to achieve that means that I now need to reassess what my new dreams are going to be, my new goals, and hopefully I'll be able to achieve them over the coming years.
And just picking up, you're in that kind of I suppose many a player would look at it and say pre-coronavirus, if you're going out of contract, you're in the perfect position to negotiate a better deal for yourself. But do you think you're going to be slightly hampered, like many players, on what you can accept, what kind of terms you're going to get because clubs are going to be cash strapped?
I think this will be a real... I think if you get a couple of people in for you and you're able to, I suppose, create a bidding war, I think if a team wants you, they're going to do everything they can to get you. However, I do agree that if things aren't going so well and you're starting to panic a bit, teams will have, I suppose, I don't know if it's an advantage because I don't know if they don't want to be cash strapped, but they're certainly maybe going to be in a position where if they don't think you've got any options, they'll be able to lowball you. And that's something I'm comfortable with my agent. I'm looking forward to the couple of months ahead, and as I say, just make sure I'm ready for whenever I get the nod to go back into it.
Yeah, so it's just a wee case of holding your nerve, is that what you're telling me?
Very much. The panic's starting to set in. The first month when we'll pay is going to be difficult, but I think my wife's getting told she's not allowed to order anything else online, all the wee daft things for Killian she's buying, so she's getting nipped that in the bud. We're fine.
I know you're panicking. You've painted that whole house white, by the way. I mean, surely you need to get a picture up or a framed strip or something. I'm worried about you there.
I'll show you the front garden. I'll show you the front garden and you'll see a for sale sign. I'm panicking. I've chucked everything. Kitchen sink of this. But
listen,
back in with my mum and dad.
I cannot see that in a million years, by the way. You're better off where you are. Listen, I've got to ask you this just before you go, Stephen. You mentioned Scotland. You mentioned the importance of being involved. I suppose the playoffs is where you're setting your target. Are you optimistic, first, you can get in, and two, we can get there?
Well, obviously, I don't even think we've got a date yet for them, have we?
No, it's moved, pushed back and pushed back.
Yeah, to be honest, I think we've got a real good chance. I think you look at through the squad and some of the quality that in positions is ridiculous. I'm just seeing, I follow a few of the boys on Instagram, and you're seeing how good condition they're keeping themselves in as well. I think we've got a right good chance, but it's going to be difficult. It always would be, and I'm sure that under Steve Clarke we've got a right good chance of achieving our goal, which is to qualify, but you can never say it's going to be a sure thing or not. I think we'll be competitive. And as long as we're that and do ourselves and the country proud, I'm sure everyone will be happy with that.
So just to finish, you're open to offers. Any bids in as yet? Anybody sniffing? Any calls?
There's a few sniffing about, but again, I think everyone's just trying to sit and wait for when League One, the Championship, kind of gets a conclusion, and then up north, hopefully now here, there'll start to be some decisions getting made, and maybe I'll have a couple of options on the table soon.
Well, listen, fingers crossed. I watch your career. We've followed it on the football show from the very start, and we have followed you just climbing that ladder. Let's hope it continues in that vein. Stephen, for the moment, from everyone in the football show, good luck. wherever you decide to play your football in the new season. Thanks for joining us.
No problem at all, Peter. Take care.
Turn over you, Roughie. I think he'd be a good buy for some club up here. Certain clubs that I think would be able to satisfy his financial demand.
Yeah, well, I just while he was talking there, I was looking at obviously in Scotland. I don't know the circumstances down in England. He's now a Scottish internationalist. Finance will come into it if he can get a good 3-year deal. So to better himself, I'm looking it up here. I mean, I know I'll throw Dundee United into the equation because they have been paying good money. Apart from that, all I'm looking at is Hibs and maybe Hearts. You know, that he would see that he is going to a better club than Kilmarnock. But if he's got a decent agent, the agent will know the English situation down there. And I said he's been down there before, so his name's not a new one. But I think getting into the Scotland team will help him a lot more. It just depends what kind of financial reward he's looking for.
Yeah, Tam, he's just changed his agent. He's obviously in a brilliant position to negotiate something. Niall Kane says, I wouldn't mind him at Motherwell. John says he'd be a good signing for Hibs.
I was just thinking that, Peter. I know he's very close to signing for Oxford in January. He was down there, and at the last minute he kind of pulled out the deal. So whether he regrets that or not, I don't know. But I'm looking at Hibs. Sir David Gray, as I call him, a legend at Hibs. He's getting on in years. A perfect replacement for him at Hibs. Right back would be Stephen O'Donnell. Now I don't know if he's got other options down south. I'm sure he will have, but for Hibs that'd be a brilliant signing. And I'm absolutely certain that Hibs would be interested in him, as other clubs up here would be.
If I'm not mistaken, though, is David Gray, we had him on the show a couple of months back there. I'm sure he's still only 31, Tam. Maybe 32.
I think I think he's a legend at Hibs, but I just think he's maybe shown signs, in the last couple of years of maybe not playing as many games. He's been injured quite a bit. I think Stephen O'Donnell, no disrespect to David Gray, who obviously is a Hibs legend, I think he'd be an upgrade at right back for Hibs. So I think there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that Graham Mathey, Jack Ross, and the team at Hibs would certainly have him in a short list to come in and compete at that position at right back.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it'd be a great signing for Hibs as well. James Marshall said, and this is why I love this programme, James Marshall says, this show, it's always just about Kilmarnock. So that's great, James. Everybody gets it on this show. It's magnificent. I love the fact that people get leathered because the good thing about it, Tam, is, none of us are sensitive on this programme. You need to be thick-skinned, Barry. You need to be able to roll with the punches. You need to take it on the chin, Barry, don't you?
Doing this Facebook, the first 2 or 3 weeks, I wasn't enjoying it. I was ready to lose the plot, but listen, you grow thicker skin the longer you're with yourself and Roughie. And Tam's took a lot of weight off my shoulders since you brought him into the team, so great work for yourself.
Tam's been a god. You know what it reminds me of? Do you remember the guy who, wanted to pick a fight with you and he'd shout something and then run away? Remember that guy saying, I'll batter when you run. I'm going to give you an absolute doing. And then when you run towards him, he runs away as fast as he possibly can. That's Tam, by the way. Fantastic. I love the fact we've signed him on this show. Lindsay Buchanan, I'm going to give you a mention, Lindsay, because Lindsay's wife is giving him absolute pelters, Roughie. And obviously I like to put this to you, Roughie, because you are our kind of an agony aunt on these situations. But his wife is saying, when are fans going to get back into the grounds? He's going to buy 2 season tickets. And I think his wife is just sick of him now, Roughie.
Wow, it means you're going to buy a ticket for her as well. Is that what you're telling me? Or he's not going to ticket.
He's going to buy a ticket for, obviously, Lindsay and whoever his mate is. Uh-huh. She just wants out of the house. I think he's busting her head.
Well, sometimes, that you get lonely when somebody's at the house. And,
I know where this is going.
I don't know.
Can I get her
She's
address
fed
and
up with
phone
him.
number, please?
No, we're off.
If she's fed up with him, Roughie will sort it out.
No, we don't. We don't want to see anybody suffering in this predicament we're in. And if we can put a smile on anybody's face, it'd be all worthwhile.
So Uncle Roughie will come in and visit you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm amazed at that because the question was all about when fans are actually going to get back into the stadium, not you go round and offer a service to everybody. Honestly, Ross.
Sooner they get back, the better.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. Sorry for that, Lindsay. He's picked. He's at the wrong end of the stick completely. Anyway, Lindsay, I think, to be honest with you, we're going to offer you an opinion. Tam, I think 2021.
Yeah, I think it'll be next year. I know. I think it'll be next year. I hope and pray it's sooner for everyone's sake.
What makes you say that, Peter?
Well, I think we're now in a situation again. I'm only listening to every news outlet you could possibly think of, sucking up as much information as I can on this. They are testing the vaccine. They're hoping that a vaccine somehow could work, that we could put out to over, 30 million people in the United Kingdom. But that's going to take a bit of time to get it out there. There's also a situation where when we come out of lockdown, there's going to be meetings, countless meetings, the SPFL and the government to discuss any sporting event with a huge gathering of people. And I think we're in a situation where there will be an easing of the lockdown, but that will not mean that people suddenly can go back to mass gathering sporting events, music festivals, even going to something as simple as the cinema. I think there's going to be restrictions in for the next couple of months until we actually realise that this virus has been flattened, there's no second wave. All these questions have to be answered, Barry, before we even contemplate a situation where fans are allowed to buy season tickets en masse and go to grounds again the way we used to love it.
Yeah, it's worrying. It's worrying times. I'm just thinking maybe at the lower leagues where there's less crowds getting into the stadiums, Peter. I think they maybe, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong,
couple of hundred.
Or 500 maybe at League Two. They might allow that, but
someone said to me, Barry,
top level football,
the lower is where the bigger problems will come, because when we're talking about testing and tracing and making sure that and I'm not even talking about the vaccine, how are clubs going to be able to guarantee in the lower leagues the safety of everyone who's coming to the ground, who's going to be tested, who's going to be able to trace those people back if there was anyone infected? So the lower leagues have got big problems because I don't think they've got the money to offer the absolute 100% safety at the moment, Tam.
If they're paying in cash, if it's cash at the gate, it's not a season ticket, you can't trace it. And I get where you're coming from. You don't scan anything or anything. So you're 100% right on that. If it's paid at the gate and stuff, I think that'd be a problem rather than the bigger clubs, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to be the prophet of doom, but sadly,
Jesus,
these are the things that somebody would have to tell me. Here is a document, and suddenly that document is going to tell us that the vaccine allows everybody to mix. You're going to be immune. If you've had it before, you're not going to get it again. You can now mix with people, and then you can sit next to them. And if you sneeze, you're not going to affect them. Don't worry.
No.
None of that will ever, at this moment, nobody could say that with 100% certainty. And that's why I worry for the lower leagues, whether they could be facing a mothball until we get to 2021. I genuinely don't know. I think it's behind closed doors games.
Peter, there's no way the clubs could survive, but playing with no fans, there's no way. So there needs to be some sort of emergency pot to help these clubs out, because they need the fans coming through the gates. It'd be impossible for them to play behind closed doors.
I agree with you, Roughie. I mean, listen.
There was a club. I don't know what club it was. It was a club said if we're not going to start playing till next year, what's the point of us signing any players? We're better not having any players at all. You don't have to pay them.
Yeah,
that's the way some clubs will look at it. They'll look at what's the point of having 15 players for the next 5 months. There's no income coming in. So we'd be better just scrapping all the contracts and letting them all go and then sign them again when we start playing football. That's what some clubs financially will be thinking about.
I hope I'm not scaremongering here, boys, but I don't know if you agree with me on this. I just don't. I do not see a way out short term until somebody turns around and says, with 100% certainty, the medical evidence, here's what you can do. Here's what we can do mixing together. Here's us going back to some kind of normality. And unfortunately for us, we are driven by, Tam, fans going to grounds. That's what keeps the foundations of our game together. It's not a huge £1 billion Sky deal which is selling the international rights to everybody.
No, it's cash flow. It's season tickets. It's paying at the gate. It's getting fans in the door. You know, that keeps your clubs alive. You know, social clubs, you know, likes of Barry, Kelty Hearts, social clubs, junior teams, there'll be social clubs that rake in money as well, give them for a pint and a pie after a game. You know, even some of the other clubs, the bigger clubs, Motherwell got a wee social club next to the ground, Hibs as well. So, you know, I hope I'm wrong, but I'm just hoping that I'm going to use my magic word. I just hope one of the boffins comes up with something soon for the vaccine.
Yeah, absolutely. David Cartwright says, Peter, you should replace Ricky Fulton as the Reverend I Am Jolly.
I know.
I absolutely desperate to go and see football. Tell you what I do miss. I miss playing Roughie 5-a-sides and 11-a-sides at football, and I miss playing tennis. I mean, these are things that we love doing. I mean, on a regular basis, you and I. I mean, I know, Roughie, you were saying to me in a private WhatsApp group, which is only me and you, that you were looking forward to leathering.
We're back. You back?
Yeah, we're back.
Right, who are you going to?
Right, we've lost.
Who are you going to?
It was you two. I think it was you two he was talking about.
Oh, right.
Going to say,
right.
you and I had a private meeting.
No chance.
I can't wait till we play those two boffins at tennis so we can give them an absolute doing. I mean, that was your content, the context of the chat we had. You know,
Has Barry not got a tennis court?
Ordered my racket. I'm hitting it off the back wall, practicing. Yep. We'll take it to you easy.
Well, I'm looking forward to it because, Roughie, I don't know about yourself, but I can't wait to see Barry serving it underhand. It's going to be great just to make sure it goes in. Brilliant. Damn, we've won a point. Don't
worry. Tam, this is serious now. Get your racket ordered.
Peter, you know Barry was talking about mental strength and all that, playing at Ibrox 50,000. Oh, yeah. My bum's going already thinking about this game. Never mind 50,000. Barry at the back of me shouting, "Hell you! Get out of the net!"
Yeah, can I just say something to you? And the reason why I'm laughing heartily is because I spent a fortune in coaching lessons to try and get near old Ilya Nastasi on the far corner there. And Tam, this is the God's honest. Did you not? I've won the first set 6-3. This is after I've spent a fortune in tennis lessons with this guy who's a big Liverpool fan. I'm 6-3. I'm one set up. I am 5-2 up in the second set, Tam. I've got him running all over the court everywhere like a madman. I'm 5-2 up, and the only thing I can think of, Barry, is this is what I'm thinking at 5-2 up. Right, what I'll do is I'll take a photograph and then I'll put it on Instagram and Twitter and then I'll put it on Facebook that I've absolutely leathered him. I was thinking of my speech. I was thinking of the programme, everything. I couldn't wait, Tam, to actually declare that I'd finally battered them in a game of singles. And what happened?
You blew up.
He fought back to 5 each, pumped me 7-5, got to the third set and won it 6-love. Honestly.
Roughie's fitness kicking in.
I know. See, I'm just looking now. I'm just looking. I would have Roughie running all over the place. Then it would blow up.
It doubles you, wouldn't it?
Not a chance.
It doubles you, wouldn't it?
Listen, fair point. Anyway, apart from anything
but you've not experienced tennis until you're playing with Peter. When you're at the net and when he's serving, he's whacks you in the back of the head.
Oh yeah.
And he's temperament suspect. I have to
Yeah.
tell you that
Tam,
right now. The
It's a
temperament
weakness.
suspect.
I'm the only guy who had to go to the next court to pick his tennis racket up after I'd thrown it over an 8-foot safety net, and I had to go into our court. I'm so mad. Anyway, Tony DeFalco, I'm going to read it out. This is the last point. Sorry, Tony. Also, Kevin Irving has got one good little point that I've got to ask Barry. Barry, has there been any snifter at all from Rangers about signing Lewis Ferguson? Because Kevin Irving, I think, would love that. And a number of Rangers fans, if you were talking about the signing for me, that would give a wee bit of bite to the middle of the Rangers midfield, it would be your nephew.
Yeah, I was actually speaking to my son about it yesterday. He speaks to Lewis virtually every single day on their WhatsApp group, and he asked him, and he said, "Absolute no contact, Peter, no contact whatsoever." I just think it's rumours just now, but I'm the same as you. I think he would be a very good signing for Rangers. I think he's still got a bit to go in terms of going to the top level, but he's got all the attributes, definitely.
Yeah,
Barry just signed a long-term contract, so I don't know if he could afford
listen,
them.
I think Aberdeen have done the right thing, Tam. He went up there when he first signed, and he signed a long-term contract. Had a great first season in Aberdeen, signed him on a new 4-year contract. So they signed him up to get top money. So whoever's going to come in and try and buy him need to pay top dollar.
Right, so he's off down south then. Okay, so the other point was Stephen Rocks. Can you say hello to my dad who watches the show? Stephen, we've just done that. Thanks to your dad for watching the programme. Tony DeFalco I mentioned, and Tony's sent some messages on Facebook, so it would be a poor show for me not to mention this one. How can we play the Scottish Cup and not continue the league? Well, I think the main part of your question, Tony, has been answered by the fact that I don't think we're going to get the league played right up until the cut-off May 25th for UEFA, Roughie. But I think there is a genuine move to try and play the Scottish Cup prior to the new season starting. Do you get that feeling?
Yeah, I get the feeling. I think the clubs have already identified that it's a £500,000 game to them, but for me, if there's no fans in watching these games, it's a non-starter for me. I don't want to see a semi-final with no atmosphere at all in any of the two games if there's no fans, because the fans, as we already know, already make it. And if you get the semi-final of the Scottish Cup, you want your fans to be there. So there's not going to be the same money coming out of it as what there would be if there was fans in the stadium.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard the large motor in the background there. That's at Tam's house in East Kilbride. They're just bringing the SPFL trophy to his house, so he photograph taken with it. So that's great there for Tam. Apparently it's doing Tam at the moment. I mean, you've just got to make sure you're 2 meters away before you pick the trophy up. It's as simple as that. Don't worry about yourself, Barry. It'll not get beyond your gates. Also, James Collins says, I love Baz. I absolutely love Baz. He said, WhatsApp, which is the Scottish version of WhatsApp, Roughie, that Barry's on with.
I was thinking that as well. Is that a new app? A new app, is it?
Yeah, it just came out yesterday. It's good. It's a good one.
Scottish on magic. Anyway, apart from anything else, thanks to William Innes. There's lots of people who enjoy the show. Some people have got opinions they want to put across. I try and get through as many as possible. I would like to say to everyone, thank you very much for your contribution, because, lads, amazingly, as the world changes and the way we actually suck up our media, the figures for the show, Roughie, are absolutely through the roof on Facebook and YouTube. We've got subscribers now on YouTube, by the thousands coming on board, wanting to basically watch all of our content, and on Facebook as well, they're interacting with us. So I think a big thank you, Roughie, because the figures are amazing.
Yeah, I have to say thanks to everybody, and when you're out, sort of buying stuff, the more and more people who are watching the show, and there is a lifeline for them. It gives them an hour to put a smile on their face, and apart from the day when you've just put everybody on a downer, telling everybody the football's not going to start. so, so no, I think it's a service we all enjoy, and I think that's the most important thing.
Peter.
The most important that you on the
I'm taking it off Barry's vocabulary book.
Peter. That's what happens when you invest in quality in the summer, which your show did. You invest in quality, it reaps dividends. That's all I'm going to say.
Tam, I kid you not, the day I signed Alison McConnell, I was absolutely delighted with it. Then we added you. A guy who has watched every club he's played for go into liquidation or be relegated. And Barry and I looked at each other and we thought, Tam's joined us in the summer. Suddenly we've got coronavirus. Companies are collapsing. We looked at each other and we thought, we are a goner on this show, Roughie. The Jinx has worked his magic again, and we're going to be goosed on this programme. But thank you to everyone who's joined us, by the way, and enjoys the show and the banter between the boys. Barry takes it in the chin. Tam, as ever, is going away to hide in a house that nobody can find him in East Kilbride. And just in case you missed it at the start of the show, Lindsay Buchanan put a question over there, and now Roughie is doing a home visit service. If your wife is absolutely... Roughie will come and chat football. We didn't know that was on the case, but Roughie's offering a personal service, a personal visitation now, which is magic, Roughie. You've just gone above and beyond for everyone.
Yeah, it's all about knowledge, you know, and people like to know that you can pronounce the right name and, you know, get the right players where they come from and all that, you know. I mean, I'm sure she will be very knowledgeable. I'm sure she will be very knowledgeable when I get there. If she isn't, she will be when I left.
So on that note,
honestly, this guy's some man, isn't he? Some man.
He is. I'm thinking of banning him off my WhatsApp group, to be honest with you. Anyway, we are going to continue with our special guests, and hopefully you're going to join us. Don't forget, like, share and follow on our Facebook page. And if you get an opportunity on our YouTube channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Just hit the button and join us regularly Monday to Friday. Thanks to Barry, thanks to Tam, and thanks to Roughie. Join us tomorrow if you can. Thanks for watching.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.